welcome to MATCHA, the podcast where we explore the world of Japanese tea. We are Toru and Megami. We both have finance as our background and currently care deeply about sustainability of the Japanese tea industry from an economic, environmental, and social angle. We're excited to share with you valuable insights on topics that matter to tea and matcha lovers around the world. So let's dive in and explore together. So, Toru, you've got a rich history in Japanese tea as the fifth generation owner of Hamasayan. You're the perfect person to help us understand what's going on in the tea industry these days. Let's kick things off with the basics. Can you give us a sense of how big the Japanese tea industry is on the global scale? Is Japan still the top dog when it comes to tea production? And what are the biggest markets out there?
Thank you for having me, Megami. I'm really excited to chat about the tea because it's changing a lot. Japan is definitely known for high quality teas like matcha and kikuro, but we are not the world's largest producer. The global matcha market is really taking off. It's estimated to hit around 3 billion by 2026. Japan's tea industry is doing pretty well too, bringing in about 670 million a year from exports. And that's been going up as more people get into matcha. The top markets for Japanese tea are the US, Germany, and Taiwan. The demand in the US is really skyrocketing, especially with the rise of health conscious consumers and then all those matcha latte popping up everywhere. Starbucks alone imported about 800 tons of matcha from Japan last year, and that number keeps growing as more folks learn about matcha health benefits. Overall, the matcha market in the US is growing at around 6 to 8% a year. And places like China, South Korea, and the UK are also catching on. It's pretty cool to see how matcha is becoming popular worldwide.
That's super interesting. My friend just traveled to New York City recently and sent me some of photos. I'll show you. Matcha is popular and it's everywhere. It feels like not just latte, but like cosmetics and things. So it feels like every year, more and more people are getting into matcha and green tea. Now, one of the reasons I'm really curious about matcha is its sustainability angle. Matcha has gone from just being a traditional drink to showing up in everything latte, desserts, you name it. But there's still this old school idea that matcha should be tied to a formal Japanese tea ceremony. What do you think about how matcha is changing and how we can enjoy it in a more laid back way?
Totally. Matcha has always been linked to those formal tea ceremonies like Sado. But these days, we are seeing it pop up in all sorts of casual forms like matcha latte, ice cream, even snacks. It's awesome because it helps introduce matcha to more people. But with that growth comes some challenges, especially when it comes to keeping the quality and authenticity of tea. A lot of folks don't realize that effort and environmental impact behind growing matcha, which is why sustainability is very important.
I'm glad you brought that up. That's really where my interest lies. I've heard there's some serious concerns about the environmental impact of tea farming, especially with matcha. Can you share some of the challenges you've seen in the industry that might affect matcha's long term sustainability?
For sure, one big issue is that a lot of farmers in Japan are getting older. Younger people are moving away from rural areas, which leaves fewer people to work in the tea fields. Plus, climate change is messing with the quality and quantity of tea leaves. For example, in Shizuoka, where we are based, the weather has been all over the place, making it tougher to produce same high quality leaves year after year. And then there's the use of pesticides and fertilizers. They can boost production but hurt soil health in the long term.
Wow, I didn't realize it was such a big deal. You mentioned that aging workforce and climate change. These social and environmental issues are hot topics in finance today, especially in the fields that I am deeply involved in, which is called sustainable finance. Basically, sustainable finance aims to become an infrastructure of creating sustainable society. We will dive into this topic at some point, but today I want to hear more from you, which brings me to my next question. Why now? Why is it so important to tackle these sustainability challenges right away?
That's a great question. The clock is ticking. If we don't take actions now, we risk losing a lot of craft and the knowledge that's been passed down for centuries. Japanese tea is part of our cultural heritage, and then without intervention, it could end up being a niche product that's hard to find and is super expensive. Meeting you, Megami, made me realize how crucial it is to address this sooner rather than later. With your background in sustainable finance, I think we can come up with some solid solutions. We could look into things like organic farming, getting younger folks interested in tea farming, and adapting fair trade practices for experts.
Absolutely. That's why I wanted to have this chat with you. From an impact investment point of view, which is a part of sustainable finance, there's a lot we can do to promote sustainable practices in tea farming, like using financial tools or community programs. But first, we need to raise awareness. Let's talk about the broader agricultural challenges that Japan is facing and how focusing on tea can help us tackle these issues.
That sounds like a great plan. The issues that tea faces, like aging farmers, drinking rural population, and environmental challenges, are pretty common across Japan's agriculture. If we can figure things out in the tea sector, it might set a good example for other crops. For instance, we could attract younger people back to farming with financial incentives or modern farming methods. Plus, by promoting the export of sustainable, high quality Japanese tea, we can help boost rural economies while keeping traditional practices alive.
Exactly. If we can showcase the importance of sustainability in tea production, not just for the environment, but also socially and economically, we can really push for some meaningful changes. I'm excited to see where the conversation goes, especially as we dive deeper into sustainable practices and possible investments in future episodes.
I feel the same way, Megami. We are just scratching the surface, and there's so much potential for positive changes. Tea is steeped in tradition, but it can also lead the way for sustainability in Japanese agriculture. I can't wait to work together on this.
Thanks again, Toru, for sharing your insights today. I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about regarding the tradition and future of Japanese tea and matcha. Let's keep this conversation going.
Thank you, Megami. It was a pleasure.
Hope you're enjoying the matcha nomics. Up next, we've got something special for you. It's called Matcha, an original track from the debut album of the dynamic Duo MOSAIC. Seiya Matsushita and Megami blend jazz with the essence of Japanese tradition, using the power of music to spread a message of environmental harmony and social awareness, reflecting the deep respect for balance and mindfulness that is central to Japanese culture, often embodied in the spirit of wa, or harmony. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Be carried away by the soothing sounds of matcha. Enjoy. 青い空と光に包まれ君は笑う初めて見た日も美味しそうに抹茶アイス食べてたね
そよ風遊ぶ茶畑丘を君はかける春風にスカートなびかせながら左振り向いた緑輝く淡い恋の歌優しさと落ち着きが自然の恵み差し込む夕日ぬくもり感じ 二人歌うこれから始まる甘美なストーリー今心弾ませ緑輝く淡い恋の歌優しさと落ち着きが自然の恵み
Thank you for joining us on the first episode of Matcha Nomics. We hope today's episode gave you a fresh perspective on the world of Japanese tea and sustainability. Whether you're sipping your matcha or exploring new ways to make a positive impact, we're grateful to have you on this journey with us. Don't forget, we'll be back with more insights and discussions a couple times a month. So make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, enjoy your tea and take care.